And since last week, we decided with the rest of the collective that we didn't need to actually shut the store. It was time that we brought the signs down. Yay, so thankfully the store is now going to remain open. And as you remember, we've been struggling over the last couple of weeks in terms of the amount of diamonds we're making. But look at this. Came into the store on the weekend and suddenly we found that there was diamonds galore here. In fact, all of our stores had made diamonds in the last week. It's like the drought has suddenly dried up, and the drought has come to an end, and suddenly diamonds are back flowing again on the server. I think that's partly responsible because we've had a certain person has returned back to the server who's a very big spender, but it's massively appreciated. So take a guess at the end, see if you can put it down in the comments before we get there to see how many diamonds we made in this week itself alone. But I'll tell you, coming to the end here, just in Fungi's, we made 102 diamonds in Fungi's alone. And that's not including the other stores. So just in Fungi's, we had 102 diamonds. But as I said, it wasn't just that store. We came over to Diamond Land here, and you can see we even sold seeds. Normally we don't sell cocoa seeds, but even they had been sold as well, which is really awesome. And so even Diamond Land, that had done 42 diamonds. And then traditionally one of our most profitable stores on the server is Doing You a Solid, which is our concrete store, and we always make a lot of money anyway from this, but even this hadn't been selling for a few weeks. But suddenly, as you can see, we sold a load more diamonds here. 3 and a bit stacks, which turned out to be 207 diamonds in total, just from here in Doing You a Solid, which was massively appreciated as well. This is all in the space of a week. It's like, what's going on? And it's not just ourselves as well. If I talked to other people on the server, they were telling us that, yeah, they were getting diamonds as well. And you can see there, we even had an order for a ship there. 9 diamond blocks for an order for a ship. I'm not going to show the construction of that ship. That's not going to be happening until next week. But I've been working on the designs. I run it past the person who's placed the order, and I really want to make that something special in itself. So we're not going to show it on this episode, but yeah, that was put in there as well. And even gunpowder and the new sea pickles that we put up recently as well, they've been selling as well. And we came over to our post office box, and someone had even left us a nice cake as well. So from the shipyards, we had 81 diamonds, which was 9 stacks. 9 diamond blocks, which is 81 diamonds. We also had 9 from, we like to say, Boom, and also we had 2 diamonds from the Sea Pickle store, which made a total of 443 diamonds there in total. But that wasn't the end of it. But as we were getting diamonds, I thought, well, I'm not going to sit there, and I did say I was going to reduce my spending down and everything else like that, but as we had quite a lot of diamonds, it seemed only fair to be putting some more back into the economy. So I went around. This is Edge's mending bookstore, and so we went and bought some mending books there. Now, we do actually have villagers who produce mending books and some of these other books that we're purchasing, but I thought, well, first of all, that means getting them properly sorted to the point where I haven't properly sorted them yet, where they've actually got their prices right the way down in emeralds. And also, it'd be nice to use the diamonds to pump back into the economy a little bit and buy some other stuff around and about in the various different bookstores. After all, if we're getting money in, we should be putting money back into the economy and helping out. And I got another ideas as well about what I want to do with some of these diamonds as well. I don't want to just hold on to them and be massively greedy and sort of go, yeah, I'll hoard all the diamonds to myself. I actually want to do stuff that's going to help support the community as well. So as well as investing back into the economy in this way, I've got some ideas I probably want to do with the collective, and we'll have a conversation with them another time in regards to that. But in the meantime, yes, as you can see, we stocked ourselves up on a load of enchanting books, especially as a lot of my equipment had gone missing through various misadventures that I'd done over the last couple of weeks. And the other thing I needed here was ink sacks. Now, I love this little store. I love the fire burning up and everything else. I'm not actually sure whose store this is, but they're selling ink sacks. It's the one type of dye that I can't get at the moment. I can't farm, haven't been able to farm yet, and that is black ink or black dye. And so we need ink sacks and everything else for that. So I may have to do that in the future. And look at this. I know there's a bit of a typo on there. I know it's a typo, but it says DrakenWerks above there. So does that mean every prismarine in that chest belongs to me? As it's DrakenWerks. But yeah, we bought some lanterns as well there. We picked those up, and as I say, we continue to pump a few more bits into the actual economy itself. And I also needed some more shulker boxes. Actually, I needed 8, and I needed 8 specifically for a specific reason, which you'll see later on in this episode as to why I needed the 8. But again, I appreciate this because I've never gone entity raiding, and that's something I should correct in the near future, because I really need to learn how to do that sort of stuff. We also came to check out this. This is Mighty Beard's new store. As you know, Mighty Beard is one of our fellow collective members, as we set up at the end of the last episode. And this is his store over here, which he recently built. And he's got these wonderful, he does these mushroom blocks. I've never farmed these, never used them before. And looking at the brown and white one there, actually, it's like, I'm sort of thinking, they don't get used enough. Maybe they should be used a bit more often. He also does bones, and he also does the bone blocks, but we can get that quite easily from our bone meal farms and everything else like that. And he also does wool, which actually might be useful for me, because though we farm our own white, green and red wool for obvious reasons when you look at our flags and everything else like that, the rest of the colours might come in handy for when we're building other people's ships and they want different colours. So I might have to remember that in the future. But we did need some more iron, so I pumped some into there for him for some iron blocks there. And then we came over back to the post office, and Mighty had dropped off 3 diamond blocks there as well. He must have been feeling a bit flush as well. So he had dropped off 3 diamond blocks. And the reason he gave us 3 diamond blocks was because of this area. Now, this is our mining desert. This is where I come to mine up all the sand that I use for my concrete store. But Mighty was having a bit of an issue that he needed a lot of sandstone for some of his recent projects, which you should go and check out his episodes and see what's going on there. So we're talking about Mighty High now. And I know, it's confusing. We got 2 Mighties. We've got Mighty High and Mighty Beard. This is Mighty High now we're referring to. He needed sandstone. So I said to him, well, look, I got my mining desert. I've dug up all the sand on the top. So it's left all the sandstone exposed, so it's much easier to probably come and get it from over here. Didn't need any cost for it and everything else, but he still insisted on giving us some money for it, which is massively appreciated, or some diamonds for it, which is massively appreciated. So yeah, really cool. So he chucked us 3 diamond blocks as well for using the desert there and helping get him some sandstone and stuff. And so after all of that and after all of those diamonds, we had a grand total of, I know it said 443 earlier, but with the ones that Mighty High just sent us as well, that's 470 diamonds we have made in a week. It's like, wow, I don't think I've ever made that many on the server in 1 week. So that's got me blown away in itself. And yeah, I want to use those diamonds in other ways. But of course, one of the problems we got now is that because we've sold so much from the shops, we got to restock. So I now have to spend my weekend going out and getting everything restocked back in the shop. Some of the stuff we still had around, like the seeds and everything else. And this area here you're seeing on the screen here, we showed the sand farming area that I used earlier. This is now where I do my gravel mining from. So there's a gravel biome that's not far from my base. It's actually at the end of the island my base is on. And there's a little village on the corner there and everything else, and this is where we come to grab all our gravel, and we grab it in mass quantity. And actually this village is where we got our first cat from as well, so you know we got the couple of cats that we used in the creeper farm going back a few episodes. That's where we got it from. But if we come over here, you can see how much we mined out. If you see those sandy pillars in the background, that's where the gravel layer used to be up to in this section. And not just this section, there's another side of the mountain. There was even more on the other side of the mountain. I have dug up so much gravel from here. I don't think there's too much more gravel we can actually extract from this area. I mean, I think if we're going to probably do a few more restocks of the shop, and then this place is going to be out of gravel. Thankfully, with the new Piglin bartering system, the Piglins actually produce gravel, so there is a way of now refreshing it in the future. But as you can see, we also produced a lot of flint because we're also digging up all that gravel. And I thought, well, let's pop that into the shop as well, into Diamond Land. We had a few chests that were empty, so I thought, let's pop the flint in there. I don't think anyone's going to want to buy them, but you never know. We can put it in there just to see, just on the off chance someone does want some flint. We got a gravel, we got a barrel full of it there in Diamond Land as well. And yeah, we've just restocked everything back up. And some of these things, things like the Nautilus shells and everything else like that, we're starting to run low on ourselves, so we're probably not going to be selling many more of these itself. The tags are the name tags. We've got villagers who can do that, so we're going to try and get that sorted out, because I know I've been asked to get an even larger quantity than the type that we normally stock in the shop. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if we can produce much more of that. That can be done through villagers, so we'll have a look into that and maybe getting them all configured up properly to be able to get as many name tags as possible. But yeah, these are normally quite a nice hot selling item as well in our shop, so maybe worth making sure that we can get hold of them more. And as we mentioned earlier, fun guys, we are not closing the store down anymore. We are now restocking the store instead and continuing to sell, and that helps the fact that we've seen some of it sell off. And also the things here is nice as well is these vines, which we struggled with for a while, now we actually can produce them quite easily. Now we've got the 2 farming machines for vines. We can just fill them up with bone meal, turn them on and just leave them do their thing, and then we come back and we just find we've got hundreds of vines ready for us to pump back into the shop here and ready for sale for people. So that's a really handy aspect here. And then of course the shop that we're always used to having to restock, and that's here at the concrete store, which is doing you a solid. And again, there's like entire barrels had to be restocked, especially with the solid ones. They're the ones that are more difficult. This is why we built the machine that's in our base, that's based on design by Cubfan, which enables us to convert concrete over very easily in large quantities without needing to go down the route of using actual blast chambers and everything else like that as well. So it's pretty easy. You sort of semi-AFK it, and you go and put some stuff on YouTube, just keep an eye on what's going on the on your other screen in Minecraft, and you can just do that out in about an hour or so, if that, depending on how much you needed to do. And even our smaller shops needed to be restocked here. So obviously we had the creeper farm, so we got the gunpowder there. We still got plenty of gunpowder coming in through that farm, especially as we've been doing a lot of work in the spire near to the creeper farm. So that farm has actually been active and running for a while. And Sea Pickles, as you saw recently, that farm is just super efficient as well. So replenishing that store was never going to be a problem. After that, we came over to Spawn Town and we dropped off some pumpkins. As we produce a vast quantity of this, you may remember we dropped off some carved pumpkins recently because they want to use it for the lighting. We don't know how much they're going to need for the Nether Hub project, how much of these carved pumpkins are going to be needed. So I thought I'd bring over some more pumpkins. Carving them was a bit of a pain, so I thought I'd just bring over the raw pumpkins. They're there, so then should we need to convert them, we've got them there ready to be converted over, but without actually having to go through all the rigours of actually converting it over, because we've already got quite a lot. But we've got some surplus here just in case we get to that situation. Now onto something a little bit different. Now we've covered all the shopping and replenishing our stores, and over to this. And you may remember we have been having a bit of grief with our Nether railway line, in that someone had put a Zombie Piglin on the line and has been sending them back and forth down the line. I know one person has owned up to being sort of sending it down the line, but even after they've sort of said, okay, I won't do it anymore, we're still getting it sent down the line. It's still causing us problems, and this demonstrates why it's becoming a problem and a bit of a grief every time it gets sort of resent and sent in different locations, because you could be traveling down the line, and if it's unloaded, you'll suddenly experience them coming the opposite direction and you get bounced back. And this occasion actually it was the other direction, and you see, I was just trying to get back to my base, but I didn't realise that someone had also sent another minecart down my line, and that was stuck down the other end, so that caused the Zombie Piglin to bounce. I was trying to get back to my base from town, and halfway down the line I am being sent all the way back to town again, and then to go back down again, back to the base again. This is just starting to get out of hand, and it is starting to feel a little bit more, less than a prank and more of a grieving sort of scenario. So I thought, right, this is about time to do something about this. Rather than waiting for whoever did this and set this up to sort it out, we're going to have to get this sorted. So initially, I was thinking about some of the ideas we could do here, but you can see one of the other issues we got here. It's like where I got rid of this minecart, I accidentally hit the guy in the minecart. Now, all the Zombie Piglins in the area hate us. Now I'm being chased by Zombie Piglins. And, this has gone from being a prank now to being something that is actually causing, like, serious amounts of grief for me on the server. So, yeah, I thought we'd have to sort this out. Now, I was considering trapping the button so that if people came along and pressed the button at the other end to send the Zombie Piglin down, some sort of trap would open up and everything else to sort of say, yeah, got you this time, stop pressing the button, and maybe sort out the Zombie Piglin that you sent down towards us. But I thought, no, let's just get rid of this guy. He's just a pain in the neck, and let's see what we can do about getting rid of him. Though, as I say, trying to get him out of the minecart is difficult because you end up accidentally hitting him if you're not careful. I find I always have trouble with it. So, and it's like, it shouldn't really be for me to remove him. So I sort of put him on his own little siding over here and made a bit of a hashtag out of trying to get everything all together properly here and trying to actually dig out the lines underneath. This is the problem with using really efficient axes sometimes. You're like trying to hit one thing and you end up hitting multiple things underneath as well. But I was able to sneak in under here and just take out the railway, or the rail line that was underneath the minecart after we had moved it off to one side. That means he was there just sat on his own in the side there, and I could have my Nether railway back and have it back to full functioning property, which was nice. And then he could be sat at the side there without being sent down the railway line every 2 seconds and people griefing me with it. And whoever was responsible for it could hopefully then sort it out in the future. Well, that was what the plan was. But even though we sort of got into the side here, the next time we came down, I sort of hit the cart as we saw there with my sword, and I suddenly realised, well, hang on a minute, that's a bit close to where I've actually positioned him, so maybe we should just sort of scoot him along a little bit, move him down a bit. So I sort of started pushing him down this way, and then this happened. And yeah, he ended up suffocating in a block, and yeah, that Piglin didn't seem to be too fussed by it, and the Zombie Piglin came straight up afterwards, but then actually wasn't that fussed either. So actually we've solved the whole problem. We've got rid of him without actually aggravating anyone in the nearby vicinity, and now I've got my Nether railway back. But here's the weird thing, we're 15 minutes into this and I haven't done any building or any time lapses yet. That's a bit odd. Did you really think I was going to go an entire episode without building anything? You should know me better than that by now. So I've built a brand new portal. I built it on the southern side of my base just because we get this magnificent view when you step out of that portal. Okay, you probably actually have to run around the base and get it to load up properly, but it's the idea, you know, sort of is there. This is going to be the main entrance into the base. So you come out of the portal on the south side here and walk in through the main gates, and you've got the entire spire rising up around you. And I just love the sort of grandiose sort of feel that this has started to really take on, starting to get that sort of feel. And then we come in here. What I've done this week is I've done a lot of work down here at the front entrance. Done a little bit of work elsewhere, but it's mostly been around getting this front entrance done. So you may remember this was mostly a skeleton with just the Neverwart farm off to the side. But actually decided, right, okay, we needed to come back and do some bit more here. And yeah, I decided we needed a few more farms around here as well, and a few more bits and pieces. So I moved our map. That's one of the first things we did. We moved the map over here from what was over in our starter base and actually expanded the map. So you can actually now see where Fort Coral is up in the top left, which has got the Welsh Dragon on it. And then you've got the entirety of our base as it stands so far is showing on there. And then you come down here, we've got the Neverwart farm that we built last episode. That's still functioning well. And in a similar sort of vein, we have a wheat farm in the corner here. That's actually quite a bit bigger than a Neverwart farm. It is, each square is actually a lot bigger, but it's also got 6 floors there. But it is against that semi-automatic mode where you press a button, water flows down, washes it all down into hoppers, and then you just go around and manually replant everything. We come to the other side here, and then sort of kind of mirrored it, but instead of having a Neverwart farm that side, we had a carrot farm. So we've got a couple of decks of carrot farm there, and then we've got another I said nearly another Neverwart farm. It's not. It's another wheat farm on the other side there, because I want a large amount of wheat to be able to make hay bales and stuff like that on a large quantity, because they're really good for making like sort of cargo elements when you're building around your base, especially with all my airships and stuff. And also finally got around to putting in an elevator between the ground floor and the first floor balcony, which leads through to actually our starter base. Until this point, the only way to actually get between the two bits was to actually use an elytra and fly, or to run around the entire outside of the base. So we now actually have an internal elevator that brings us around here. And I started working on putting some arches off the main pillars here, but they've kind of accidentally turned into a bit of a mob spawning area, because they've ended up in darkness, because I've also started doing the platforms above as well. And those arches are going to be in pretty much darkness, so I might have to rethink about some of their designs there. You can see there's a zombie wandering along the top there as well. Precariously balanced. They can't actually harm anyone, because if they fell off there, then the fall distance is sufficient that it would just kill them straight off the bat anyway. But on top of that, when we come to the spire, you remember last episode we were working on the kelp farms and producing a large amount of kelp. These are now working incredibly efficiently. Like, I'm producing so much kelp that it's able to fuel up my furnaces. I'm able to turn around and keep this actual farm sustained, this actual furnace array here sustained, power my other furnaces and give myself more than sufficient burning power, and also have quite a bit of surplus as well. So with that in mind, I built myself another new store. I know I got so many stores now, and you saw how long it took me to restock earlier. But yeah, I decided to build another store. This is going to be called Sea Fuel. And the idea is literally, it is just kelp blocks for fuel. And at the moment, the way we've priced it is actually now going to be the most efficient, cost-effective fuel on the server, because we are charging 1 diamond block for a stack of kelp blocks, and 4 stacks of kelp blocks equals 1 stack of coal blocks, and the market price at the moment for coal is 8 diamond blocks if you wanted an entire stack. So we're actually half the price for the same fuel efficiency, which is pretty handy. And then to end off here as well, we were talking about our colleagues here in the collective, and I've been going through this episode, and we had a few little ideas that I sort of battering around and thinking around in my head, and I thought, right, okay, well, actually maybe we should get us guys all together as well. So I thought I'd send out invites, but it also gives a quick opportunity to go and check out our other guys, the other guys in the collective there. And first of all, we came over here to Mighty Beard's place, and I love his build here. It's got this very modern sort of, feels very much like a Mediterranean apartment sort of style feeling to it, especially with the sort of the bright green grass that you get from the mushroom biome as well. And he also has this fantastic little area. This is his item sorting area, so all his items go into this pool. Like his sugar cane, you can see growing on the side there, but also he's got like a skeleton spawner there, and the skeleton taking a pot shot at us as well, but the skeleton spawner there as well, and he dumps them all into the same area and then just sorts out all the items from there, which is pretty cool, I thought. But yeah, we dropped down a lectern and put a book on there, basically inviting Mighty Beard and also Lady Beck to come and join us at the Drakenspire to have a bit more of a conversation about the idea of what we want to do with the collective. in addition to that, we did also drop one off at Lady Beck's. We weren't just dropping it off at Mighty Beards. And again, I mean, hopefully we're not showing any spoilers on here. I don't think we are. I've been watching their episodes, and I think everything we're showing on here is stuff that's already been seen, so don't need to worry about that. I know Mighty Beards are very regular. He broadcasts twice a week. Definitely check out his videos down below, and also Lady Beck's as well. Check out hers as well. And she's been showing off recently this over here, which is her big pit project, where she has been digging big holes in the landscape all the way down to bedrock. So yeah, that's a pretty big pit. Now it's a forerunner to the rest of what she's going to be doing, but there's more builds to come on top of there. You just go and watching her videos to find out what's going on and why she's building that and everything else there as well. But yeah, I thought we would invite them both down to come and join us for a meeting with the collective down here at the Draken Spire. But I've been Draken. This has been the DrakenWerks. This has been a episode and a half. Not quite the normal episode. Not so much on the build side, though we did do a little building towards the end, but more about replenishing and diamonds, and nice to finally be making some money again. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to check out the rest of the guys, and don't forget to sub if you've liked this video. Have a good day. Take it easy all. Bye.